Photo opportunities in Charleston, South Carolina are as available as sweet tea. But in a place where the past meets the present, there could be answers for the future of Dane County.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
Consolidated Dispatch Operator 38.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
We're at the Charleston County Consolidated 911 Center.
Jim Lake runs a 911 operation now nationally recognized for its performance. Now being the important word there.
Some of the bugs that we experienced early on were the call processing times, call answering times.
The national standard is to answer 90% of all 911 calls in 10 seconds or less. As recently as 3 years ago, these operators only answered 67% of 911 calls within 10 seconds. Over the last year, though, they're now doing so 94% of the time.
The major fix to that was staffing. So our call answering times were taking us longer to answer those calls because we didn't have enough staff in the chairs to answer those calls.
Charleston County's 911 center is budgeted for nearly 160 people. That's almost twice as many as we have in Dane County. It's made a difference in public impression.
Their expectation is that their call is probably going to be answered within about 15 seconds, tops.
Hello, this is 911. Can you hear me?
So after they've picked up the phone quickly,
911, what's the address of the emergency?
what they do next is also dramatically different from what we do in Dane County.
We ask two basic questions.
This is 911, what's the address of the emergency?
And then secondly,
Tell me exactly what happened, sir.
tell me exactly what happened.
Based on that information, they can send help immediately.
My partner will be getting help on the way.
That's dramatically made a difference in our dispatch processing times.
They call it quick dispatch. On average, it allows them to get fire crews out the door in under a minute. Before quick dispatch, it took twice as long. In Dane County, data shows it took roughly 2 minutes, 15 seconds to get firefighters out the door.
We want to get there. We want to try to keep the situation from getting worse and provide the best care we can. And we have to do that in a timely manner. Seconds mean death.
Charleston Assistant Fire Chief Mark Smith and his crews want and need as much information as they can get before they get to a scene. But they don't need it to get out the door.
My partner's going to be getting help on the way to you. Just stay with me while I gather some information, okay?
My partner will be getting help on the way. I'm going to gather some information from you.
I'm going to ask you a few questions while my partner gets help on the way.
It's great to ask 35 questions, but ultimately it comes down to how quickly we want to get there.
In Dane County, 911 operators ask 5 questions, 4 more than in Charleston County, before they ask what happened and before any crews are sent. But once they're sent, another key difference comes into play.
John Q. Public or Mrs. Smith, she does not care whose name is on the side of your apparatus. No one is brand specific when it comes to 911. When you have an emergency, you do not care that it says Charleston Fire Department on the side of it.
It's called border dropping. All of the fire departments in Charleston County came together after a fire killed 9 City of Charleston firefighters in 2007. They now train together, set operating practices together, and help each other. No matter which jurisdiction the fire may be in, the closest unit goes, unlike what happens in Dane County.
I know there's been lives saved. There's been less dollar loss to fire. There's people who have survived vehicle accidents and traumatic events and medical events that never would have before.
They are hesitant in Charleston County to offer specific suggestions for Dane County. But Jim Lake believes this is the message that's turned his 911 center around.
What our customers need to know is that we are trying to provide the best service that we can. And if we don't, we need to hear from you so that we can fix that.
All right, ma'am, my partner's going to be getting an officer out there to you. Just stick with me while I gather a little bit more information from you, okay? You're welcome, ma'am.